What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Realistic Career Mode. This is episode number 68, and we're starting today's episode off on the back of our win over Huddersfield Town, send us through to the last 16 of the FA Cup scene. Harvey Vale has gone out on loan to Newcastle United. We'll keep an eye on his progress there at St James's Park. Not going to get any game time in this team. He might get a little bit more under Eddie Howe in the North East, and also you would have seen as well, Fikayo Tomori's suspension was confirmed. He'll be out of our next game against Spurs. Massive blow to be missing our highest rated centre-half for that game there on the back of his, let's say, debatable red card in that FA Cup last 32 clash. I didn't think it was a red card personally, but even so. Still following that, transfer deadline day came round. We had a couple of bids for two of our players, both coming from Spurs, funny enough, for N'Golo Kante and also Trevor Chalobah as well. Rejected them both, of course. Neither player going to leave us in this window, and that would do it for a pretty quiet January transfer window for Chelsea. We re-signed Cesar Azpilicueta, a vet, even though the game doesn't count him as a vet somehow at 35 years old, for a little bit more cover in this team. And of course, loaned out a couple of our young players as well. But the interesting thing in this January window was this. Wait for it. Hang on a second. Oh my god. Oh my god. Why? Why are you selling all those players? As Bellingham goes to Atletico, Dani Olmo is now at Old Trafford, and Guri, the young French forward, has now moved on to Juve. But Southampton, I ask you, why are you selling all those players? £182 million raised for the clear out of St Mary's, but why would you do that and only sign one player, Vanderson, as a replacement? Why? I don't understand it. As I run you through our Chelsea team, this is the squad we've now got for the rest of the season. The only concern for me is the lack of bodies in this team, but this is the Southampton team now for those curious. Now, don't get me wrong, they've still retained a lot of their core there. Nathan, Tosin, Rico, Romain, Salisu, now 89 rated at 25 is still there, as is Davinson Sanchez as well. In midfield, Dayeo, De Silva still there, Ritsu, Doan, the Japanese sensation, and 87 overall still there, as is Adamola Lookman and Ebrechi Eze as well. So as you'll see, they've still got some really good players in this team. And up top, Minamino is still there, Brennan Johnson is as well, and Gareth Bale's in the final year of pro football. But James Ward-Prowse, the captain, has gone to Villarreal. Keane Lewis-Potter has gone to FC Cologne. Mark has gone to PSG, to be fair, so I guess I can see why they want to sell him to PSG. KWP's gone to Dortmund. Again, I guess I can see that one, to be fair, really, as realistic as they came calling. Che Adams has gone to Nice, and in the summer, Adam Armstrong left to Roma. But I don't know why they had such a clear out in the January window. There was no need. They got through their group in the Europa League as runners-up, so they're into the preliminary round against Unai Emery's Villarreal. Very tough tie there. And in the Premier League, they are outside of the European places, but there's still plenty of the campaign left to go. And they're only in 8th, and they're only behind Leicester in 7th on goal difference. Why would you have a clear out? What's the point? And it really frustrates me because there's no need for it, you know. And I mentioned before, like we were going to be, rooting for Southampton despite leaving them, still wanting them to succeed, even if I'm not managing them anymore. But there's no need. And I mentioned before, this is what frustrates me about FIFA Career Mode a lot. When you leave a team and the AI just blow the squad up for no logical reason whatsoever, it really does frustrate me. There's no need for that, and it's just so sad when you've worked so hard to build a team up over the course of 3 years, and then in 6 months of leaving them, the AI managers are like, well, time to rebuild. Like, there's no need, But even so frustrating. Look how they massacred my boys. But even so, yeah, Southampton having to clear out in January. Had to show you that. That is so frustrating. Anyway, first game of today's episode. Massive one here on the back of the win over the Terriers in the Cup. Now taking on Spurs in the league. We lost a reverse fixture in North London. Now taking on Conte's boys here at Stamford Bridge. Big game here as we aim to stay top. What a start. Missing Tamori, but not missing this guy. He scored a brace in that game over the Terriers, and 14 minutes in, Kai Havertz. What a goal from the German forward, bending on in from range, making it 1-0. And really, in the first half of this game, it was all Kai Havertz. I was continuously looking for him down the right-hand side. Spurs are playing a really, really high line, and Havertz was just constantly in behind Sergio Reguilon in the first half. The Spaniard was so far high up the pitch, so Havertz had loads of space to operate in down that right flank. I kept on looking for him. It scored our first goal, and then 43 minutes in, no! Okay, transfer window's just shut. I said my only concern is a lack of squad depth in terms of quantity. A lot of quality, but not many bodies in our reserves. Kai Havertz goes down, tripped up, tackled fairly by Ezri Konsa, and taken off on the stretcher, and it looked bad. On comes Dembele. I mentioned before, the only luxury is known in the wing area. We've got so much quality to replace our starters. So on comes Dembele for Havertz as we're up by a goal at the break. But now, in a game where we're missing Tamori through suspension, missing Thuram through injury, Havertz has now been forced off. So in the second half, Spurs buoyed by that injury, looking to get back on level terms, and they would. 4 minutes after the restart, and I am sick of this guy. Hyung Min Son, the Korean, who always scores against me, levels it, and Spurs have their equaliser soon after the restart. It's 1-1, we're back on level terms, and 56 minutes in, we should have been back in front. Dembele off the bench, running through one-on-one. Unai Simon with a save, still tied, still level. But really in the second half, it could have gone either way. We were still tied, but both teams were pushing for a late winner. And with 15 minutes to go, as Captain America is sent forward, well, if Havertz's injury is a serious one, I'm going to need this guy to really step up in our front three. Christian Pulisic running through one-on-one, and Captain America bends it in, top bins, and we restore the lead late on. So in front by a goal, aiming to get our revenge on Spurs and get the revenge and get the win in this game. Desperately clinging on to the 1-goal lead in the final 5 minutes, looking to get a big victory here to keep us top. Bergwijn finds Jonathan David, our the final attack of the game. Wouldn't you just know it? The Canadian who scored in a reverse fixture scores in this one as well. Celebrates with Conte, it's 2-2. And once again, another slip up at the bridge. Yup, this season our away record has been better than our home. 2-2 the final score. I think I wrongly said in the last episode or the episode before that all of our defeats have come at the bridge this season. That's not true. The only loss we've had away this season actually came against Spurs. But a 2-2 draw there, and it means that back-to-back games against Spurs have ended with us not winning. And the negative was drawing the game, but the even bigger negative was this. Oh, God. Oh God, Kai done for a couple of months. He's dislocated his shoulder and we won't see him again until April time. And you look at his return this season, only 4 goals in 18, but really it's his assists that have caught the eye. 7 in 18 on that right flank there. We are of course retraining him to be an official right winger, as technically he's playing out of position, but we know he's not really. But even so, Dembele's going to come into the first team. Thuram will now slide onto the bench. And that's a big blow. We're already missing Thuram, and now we're missing Kai. And I talked about it. Our team is, it's fantastic. In terms of quality, there's an abundance of it, but the depth is the only concern. And now with Manchester City going top, with 14 games to go on goal difference, there's no doubt about it, I'm really starting to feel the pressure now. As you can see, the draw for the last 16 in the FA Cup has been made. We've got the Magpies at home, so our first test against Premier League opposition in the FA Cup. I know you see that North London derby there, Spurs versus Arsenal, but last 16 clash against Newcastle, that'll be a tough game there against Eddie Howe's rising Magpies, if you will. Plus, as we know, last year we had the Magpies in the FA Cup quarter-final with Southampton, only just came through them in extra time. That'll be a tough battle there, no doubt about it, but in the Premier League right now, dropping to second for the first time this season, the pressure is on as Chelsea manager. With my manager rating dropping, there's been speculation of Chelsea board are thinking of pulling the trigger on this experiment and ending it early. Well, at least I know one thing. The players are behind me. 20 minutes into our following game. Wolves away at Molineux. And Captain America, I said it a moment ago, with Kai's injury, I need this guy to take the reins in our front three now. I like Dembele, but everyone knows he's quite inconsistent. He blows hot and cold. I like Tammy, but as we know, he had a red hot start to the season. Since then, he's been a little bit worse for wear. Christian is the guy I'm looking for now to really take the reins in our front three. He scored our first goal, ran to me to celebrate with me. The players are still behind me. And then soon afterwards, Tammy's ears were burning. I just sneak dissed him. What does he do? He gets back on the score sheet. It had been a few games, but now he returns with a goal. Tammy, with the finish, makes it 27 minutes in. The perfect start at Molineux. We've lost our lead at the top of the table for the first time this season. We're taking on Bruno Lage's side, who are chasing European football. Half an hour in, we led by 2, had a chance to make it 3, and we did. A brace for Tammy. Had that red hot start to the season with 8 goals in 10. Since then, his goal to game ratio has not been great, but 2 big ones here at Molineux put us 3-0 up half an hour in, and we're cruising to a big return to winning ways here on the back of the draw against Spurs. So leading by 3, 34 minutes in, I surrendered this really silly corner. I had to show you this. This was so frustrating. I mean, a catalogue of errors for this goal. And if there was ever a highlight that sums up my defensive ability in FIFA 22, it's this. First, the header's going harmlessly wide. And then with Cucurella, he diverts it behind for a corner when it was a yard away from going behind for a goal kick. And then Edouard Mendy charges out of his goal like a headless chicken, as Wolves score a very simple goal with the goal gaping to make it 3-1. Thankfully, in the end, it proved to be nothing other than a consolation goal, because after all the chances and the goals fell in the first half, we held on for the win by 3-1, with very little to report in the second. 3-1 the final score, big return to winning ways there at Molineux to keep the pressure on Manchester City. And you would have seen as well, Tammy Abraham's injury was just a knock as well. Spoilers, but a 5-day bruise for Tammy. Thank goodness for that, because, you know, we're missing Kai. We're missing Thuram. I can't afford to be missing my top scorer this season as well, who just bagged a brace. Yet bruised shoulder for Tammy. He'll be okay. Just a 5-day injury. Back in the team for the very next game. So for the following game here, Watford here, taking on the Hornets for our third and final game of today's episode. Having a decent season in the game, to be fair, in mid-table right now and doing alright. But taking them on here at Stamford Bridge, desperately need to get back-to-back victories in the Premier League for the first time in quite a few games. Missing Kai Havertz in our front three, missing Thuram as well. Obviously a couple of players down for this one, and then 18 minutes in, oh my goodness, well, I did say I wanted more injuries. I did say I wanted some more injuries in this save, and we're certainly getting them this season. 18 minutes in, Mason Mount goes up for an aerial duel, and one of our players of the season stays down. Thankfully gets up pretty quickly though, so I knew he'd be okay. But even so, another knock for one of my players as Mason Mount goes down, and from the build-up as well, Watford almost took the lead. Good stop by Mendy, and it's still 0-0. Half an hour in, still looking to break the deadlock here. Pulisic plays a 1-2 with Tammy Abraham down the right-hand side, and the chance for us to get in front. It's the former Dortmund winger running through one-on-one, and like I mentioned, this guy now is the guy I'm going to be looking for in my front three. Captain America drills it in to make it 1-0 with his third goal in 3 games, and that is his 8th goal. I was going to say 13th goal for some reason. 8th goal in 19 games for Christian Pulisic. And right now, he knows with Kai going down, the front three, he's the main guy right now. Pulisic opens the scoring we lead. Didn't play my best in the game though, I gotta be honest here. We got the win in the last one, but in this game I wasn't really at my best. And we were still only leading by a goal with 10 minutes to go. And the Hornets had a golden chance to level it with a Pender smacking on off the woodwork, and the tension inside Stamford Bridge. You could hear a pin drop. It really was so nervy, so tense. I'm sure you guys have all been in grounds where, you know, your home team is the favourite, yet you're holding on in the final few minutes. Your team's holding on to a win, which should have been a routine banker at the start of the game. Instead, you're clinging on to a victory. The tension, the nerves, you could cut the tension with a knife, you know, but thankfully after a Pender hit the woodwork, we went on the other end. And Christian Pulisic, 4 goals in 3, 9 for the season, wraps it up with his brace. Final score, Chelsea 2, Watford 0. The American with the brace, we thank him for the win. But I've got to say, just about got away with that one at the end there. 2-0 the final score, and we do get the 3 points. And because of that win as well, well, we know how tight it is at the top of the table. It might well keep on changing week after week. But after the big win there against the Hornets and a win at Molineux as well, Mason Mount's injury is just a bruise. And Chelsea are back to top of the table. Only by 2 points though, Man City, only 2 points behind. Still had a bit of goals record. And we're only 6 in front of Liverpool and 8 clear of the champions, the Red Devils as well. 12 games to go. And whilst we have returned to top spot, it's still all to play for. But that will end today's episode of the Realistic Premier, guys. Big fan of you for watching. Hope you have enjoyed. If you hadn't, please drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day. And I'll see you for the next episode of the Realistic Premier, featuring the last 16 of the FA Cup very soon.